يا أبا صالح مددي مددي.
And tonight we need to understand, and we'll give examples of individuals who with the Imam, together with the guidance of the Imam, do not benefit, eventually lying in a place that the Quran says, وَهُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ, perishing and languishing in the fires of hell. And this is the danger. So the first two majlises we highlighted the dangers. And you do realize with the shortage of time, I have had to cut down a lot of things. It needed to be expanded, it needed to be taken gradually, but we have to go quick. And so tonight we will discuss on a few instances certain individuals, and you will see how relationship, familial ties, domestic issues play no role in how a person develops in his relationship to the Imam. And last time here you heard last night, we talked about the four Nawab, four individuals who together with the Imam reached certain lofty positions with the guidance, with the teachings. They were not the only one who were there with the Imam. There were several other, but these individuals stand out amongst all the people to become the second best individuals on the planet after the Imam Zamana. But when we mentioned, remember the last time, the four naibs that we talked about, Uthman ibn Sa'id, Muhammad ibn Uthman ibn Sa'id, Hussein ibn Rawh Nawbakhti, and Ali ibn Muhammad al-Samuri. It was at the time of the second naib. We're looking at two flip sides of the coin, or the second side of the coin. It was at the time of the second naib, that is Muhammad ibn Uthman ibn Sa'id. The father has passed away, and now the son becomes the wakil, becomes the naib of the Imam. It was during this time that there were several, they were not, as I mentioned, the only one at the time who were good individuals, who were pious, but these were the most prominent ones, the best ones, and hence they get the priority, they get the eligibility to become the naib of the Imam. At the time of the second naib, there was another individual, a scholar, a faqih, a religious man, an alim by the name of Shalmagaani. Shalmagaani existed during the time of the second naib, and he was amongst those top tiers, you know, the top tiers. Like for example, even now when you have the mujtahideen, you've got the maraji, and amongst the maraji there's a second level, a tier lower to them, that if something happens to them, these are the individuals who are the next maraji. Like the time of Ayatollah Khui, marhum Ayatollah Khui was there at the time, Agha Sistani was there. But because of Ayatollah Sistani, Agha Khui being the marja, Agha Sistani is the second tier. So when Ayatollah Khui passes away, these people rise up and they become the marja. The same levels. Naib, the second naib, Muhammad ibn Uthman ibn Sa'id, this is his niyabat, this is his time, the gaibat kubra, sugrah is continuing, and now you have an individual by the name of Shalmagaani. Shalmagaani was the second tier. While he was an alim, while he was a scholar, while he was a faqih, while he was respected in the society, there were certain things, and there are certain things that remain in the heart, they don't come out till an opportunity presents itself. So Shaitan, Azazil, at the time when he was training, when he was teaching the malaika, he was a jinn. That kufr was still there. You heard what Sister Majabin just mentioned, when she mentioned that ayat, when he was asked, bow down, what did he say? He says, I'm not going to bow down. Quran comes and asks him, Allah comes and asks him. He says, why did you not bow down? Astakbarta kana min al-kafirin. That he did kufr, he did takabbur, and he was from the kafirin. Kana min al-kafirin. Say, sara min al-kafirin. See, there are words you need to understand. This is Quran. It says, Aba wastakbara wa kana min al-kafirin. He refused Aba. He refused. Wastakbara. Exhibited takabbur. Wa kana min al-kafirin. Kana means was. He was from the kafirin. Normally in situations it should be that because he did not bow down before Adam, violating my rulings of bowing down, he did not pay heed, he disobeyed, so now he became kafir. Quran doesn't say Sara min al-kafirin. He became from the kafirin. It says Kana min al-kafirin. He was from the kafirin. Meaning what? That kufr was there in his heart even when he was Azazil. Even when he was Azazil, even when he was the Muallim of the angels, that kufr was there in his heart. The only thing was there was no opportunity for him to manifest that kufr. That kufr manifested when he was said, bow down before Adam. Kufr came out, kana minal kafirin. Now you understand, he was from the kafirin. We put this out before you to show you his reality. Not became from the kafirin. So many a times we have within ourselves certain things. And this is what it is said. We talk about Fir'aun, we talk about Musa. Musa is there asking Fir'aun, become obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Fir'aun refuses. Ana rabbukumul a'la. I am your Lord. First he says, I am your Lord. Then he says, Ana rabbukumul a'la. I am your greatest Lord. I am your biggest Lord. I am your most important Lord. That is why then people say, ulama say, when you criticize Fir'aun, be careful, huh? Rawat comes us. When you criticize Fir'aun, be careful, because in the minds, in the hearts, within the inner dimensions of every individual lies a Fir'aun. The only thing is Fir'aun got an opportunity with his wealth and his money to show his power and stand up in arrogance against God. We don't have that kind of power. But if you and me were to have the same kind of power, it is not very unlikely that we would behave in the same way that Fir'aun behaved. But because we don't have that opportunity to show, we are not exhibiting that Fir'auniyat that is there within us. Similarly over here, Shalmagaani was there, faqih, alim, scholar in the time of second Naib. Deep within his heart, while he was presenting a demeanor, a facade of religiousness, which he was. But within his heart there was this hope that after the second Naib passes away, I will become the third Naib. And that was his mindset. So he was working towards it. He wanted to succeed after the second Naib and become the third Naib. So when the second Naib was getting ill, was very ill, he was under the impression, now after him, Imam is going to make me the Naib. But when the second Naib passes away, Imam supersedes him. See, Imam looks straight with an individual, doesn't look at the facade. You and me will look at the facade. Oh, this person with the big beard, big Maulana. This person with the big Amama, big Maulana. For all you know, somebody with the topi is more learned and more muttaqi than somebody with the Amama. Yeah, because we go by the facade. We want to go exterior. Imam looks at the interior. Imam bypasses him and says the third Naib will be Hussain ibn Raw and Nawbakhti. When the second Naib is going and the letter Tawqi comes from the Imam that after you will announce that the Naib after you is Hussain ibn Raw and Nawbakhti, which we mentioned last night. This Shalmagaani did not like it. When you don't like, you turn away. And he turned away, and how? He says, I'm supposed to be the one. I was expecting to be the Naib of the Imam. The Imam has bypassed me. He's put Hussain ibn Raw. I'm going to go against the institution of Mahdaviyat. I'm going to go against Imamat. And that's what he did. He started acting in opposition to the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt. This alim turns away, this faqih turns away, this scholar turns away. Why? Because his entire hum and gham, because of his knowledge, because of his ilm, was to attain a position. That position, when it did not achieve that entire taqaddus, that entire religiosity crumbles down. His reality manifests itself. Same thing happened with Azazil. He had a lot of knowledge. He was teaching the others, but when he was asked to present himself in obedience to God, he refuses. That entire taqaddus, the fasad, the veneer, then collapses. Here again, it crumbles down and he shows his reality. He starts manifesting himself and acting directly against the teachings of the Ahlul Bayt. He would take the ahadith of the Holy Prophet, start making alterations within it as and how he would like. He would go to villages. He says, you know who I am? I'm the representative of the third Naib of Imam Zamana. Trying to gain prominence amongst the people. He would take hadith. He would start doing things. He would start making up hadith, deleting content, adding content, making a mess of the hadith, just so that he could gain himself into prominence, to such a time that he began to claim that the ruh of the Holy Prophet, the soul of the Holy Prophet and Ali has now entered into his body. And this is how he wanted to show his representation. When this started to become too big, a letter comes from Imam Zamana to the third Naib, because the second Naib has passed away. He was supposed to, expecting himself to be the third Naib. He was bypassed. Hussain ibn Raw and Nawbakhti becomes a Naib. He starts his mission contradicting the rulings of Imam. When it goes too far, Imam writes a letter to Hussain ibn Raw. This Shalmagaani has become a kafir. May the lanat of God be upon him. You need to talk to the people and tell them that this man is now distanced from a madhab. Somebody whom Imam Zamana does lanat khalas. Somebody whom Imam-e-Zamana curses and says the lanat of God be upon him, this person has no excuse. This person cannot save himself. He tried to continue, eventually things turned out, and this is how things turn out. When you go against the hujjat of God, that person is never going to be successful. This Umar Asad wanted Ray by killing Hussein. He kills Hussein in the hope that he will get the hukumat of Ray. Hussein is also killed. Hukumat of Ray also doesn't come in his hands. It doesn't work. This is how the God system works. This man wanted to gain prominence, goes against the hujjat of God. The very people who were opponents of the Ahlul Bayt, meaning Bani al-Abbas, they strike a wrong chord with Shalmagaani. The Wazir of the Khalifa of Bani al-Abbas launches a manhunt for this man. He goes into hiding. He becomes a refugee. Eventually he's caught. He's put on trial. He's convicted. He is whipped. He is beheaded. Hum fiha khalidun.